Hello, this is Psychic Cheryl Lynn. Today I'm going to speak to all of you or teach all of you the subject Millennials Explained. So let me explain Millennials Explained. So a while ago, I had a clear vision about the Millennials and their function, their purpose, and I was talking to a beloved family member. They had asked me about the millennials, and I got a clear message on it, a clear vision. And I shared that vision on my Facebook page, the Psychic Cheryl Lynn group on Facebook, and I also have a Cheryl Lynn Facebook page. And I had written down my vision that I had about the millennials. And so I'm putting it on YouTube here for all of you. And to take the mystery away about the millennials and what's coming up for millennials, because there's 3 generations of them. The second generation of millennials are here. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, and I'm going to give you clarity on this. And it doesn't matter what category you're in. Well, you're not a second millennial or a third millennial, but you're definitely, some of you could be first millennials, and definitely end of the baby boomers like me. And so this is to give you clarity about and it's called Millennials Explained. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you what I put on Facebook, my Psychic Cheryl Lynn Facebook group. And then after that, I will explain my vision and what I got. As I read this to you, and again, this is direct from my Facebook page, the burning building that I'm talking about, the vision that I got from the burning building, the building with the flames and it's burning, represents the world. Represents humanity, represents the world, represents the physical 3D world, the world itself. It represents that. Okay, so I'm going to read this and then we'll go over this. Okay? And again, I call this Millennials Explained. I was speaking with a beloved family member. They asked me a question about the millennials. I got this clear vision on them. I wanted to share it with all of you. Please imagine a huge building or tower on fire. You can see the flames coming out of the windows. There is black smoke. It is burning. The boomers, the baby boomers, the boomers. I am the end of the boomers. And so is this beloved family member of mine. So I'm the end of the boomers, the baby boomers. I'm right at the end. The boomers came across this burning building during their time. They ignored it. They refused to acknowledge it. Some who saw it said, okay, it is burning, but what do you want me to do about it? I'm not going to risk my life. How is this going to benefit me? People will judge me if I try to do something different. I hope nobody saw me standing here looking at it. I will ignore it like everybody else. The first generation of millennials. These are the children from the end of the boomers. I have a child that is a first generation millennial, and so does my beloved family member. Okay, so the first generation of millennials, the Potsters. The first generation millennials came across this same building. I had something pop up. Hold on a second. The first generation millennials came across this same burning building. All of them stopped and pointed at the building and shouted, "It's on fire! It's on fire! Somebody do something! There could be people in there! Get help! Get help!" They made everyone aware of what was happening. The boomers did not want this pointed out, for they wanted the first generation millennials to be like them. These millennials refused, and they continued to point at the burning building and scream for help. However, the first generation millennials were across the street. and not right in front of the building. They were all looking at their phones. They could not help because they had to learn all the new technology. They moved humanity forward. They came into the physical world at a much higher vibration and tried their best to adjust to the low mud vibration they were born into. They did a good job. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. So the vision is that I had the first generation millennials across the street pointing. They didn't leave the building, but they all had their heads down. We had to learn all this technology. We're going to move humanity forward. Okay? So that's what I meant by that. Their heads were down. Now, the second generation of millennials. These are the children of the first generation of millennials, the fighters. I call them the fighters. The second generation of millennials came across this same burning building. They immediately jumped in and helped. Together, they fought the flames the best way they could. They risked their own lives to save others. They worked tirelessly. They were all action. As their parents, the first generation of millennials were distracted by learning technology and moving humanity forward. The second generation of millennials were free to do what they needed to do. Yes, they had technology, but it did not interfere with their mission to save others, to serve and do. No fear, and they were brave. However, they did tire after a while. Some of the flames were out, some of the people were saved. The second generation of millennials cried out, "We need help. We have done all we can. We need this fire to be put out immediately. No more burning, no more people lost." The third generation of millennials, these are the children of the second generation of millennials, the finishers. I call them the finishers. As the second generation of millennials cried out at the burning building, the third generation of millennials swooped in, and with one gust of wind, the fire was gone. No more people ignored or burning. The second generation of millennials were cheering. The first generation of millennials were still across the street, but there was a great sense of joy among them. They witnessed what they created. Technology for the third generation of millennials was so advanced it's beyond human comprehension. The third generation of millennials knocked down the building so it would never burn again. All right, so that's the vision that I had to try to explain the millennials here. So basically with the burning building, and let me just say this, the first generation millennials, they are the grandparents. They are the grandparents, not the boomers. Not the boomers. So that is why the first generation millennials all had their heads down. They had to learn everything. They had to do everything to move humanity forward because the boomers were ignoring each other, judging each other, and that was not of God in heaven. So these millennials came in, and so the end of the boomers, my generation, the end of the baby boomers brought in the first generation millennials. Okay? So I hope you kind of understand what I'm talking about here. So basically, the building's on fire. It has to represent the humanity. It represents the world, and it's just the baby boomers just went, not me. Who's like judgment? Judgment. Nope. But then the first generation of millennials, they stopped and they pointed out, and they did do that. Hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. But there's nothing they could do. They were across the street. They couldn't be action. They had to learn all this stuff. They're the grandparents. And then the second generation of millennials, the fighters, they came in fearlessly. They're coming in. They're action to clear up and clean up the world. They're not afraid of anything. And so they come in and they clean. So this generation is coming in now, because the millennials are starting to have their children now. And so these children are coming in and they're like the fighters. They're the ones that are saying, we're action. We're going to help. We're going to do everything we can. And yes, they're advanced technology-wise from the first generation of millennials. But they get tired after a while because they're doing it themselves. They're doing it themselves, and then the third generation comes in, the finishers, and they're so advanced technology-wise, and they immediately stop everything. There's no more burning building, and they destroy what is no longer of God in heaven. So I wanted to give this so I can explain the millennials a little bit better. They are here. They actually, the first generation millennials. You are the grandparents of the new humanity, not the boomers. The boomers are done, and the boomers are trying to change the millennials, the first generation of millennials, and they said, nope, no, we got stuff to do. We don't got time for that. We got to care about others, not ourselves. We got to care about others. Judgment, what's that? So I hope that kind of explains that the millennials are the grandparents. This is the new humanity. This is what other people were talking about. This is here. Again, the second, as I'm taping this or filming this, the second generation, the first millennials are now having their children. The second generation millennials are here, and they're going to be constantly where first millennials pointed out things that are wrong in the world, injustices in the world, the racism, all that stuff. They pointed that out, but they had to move humanity forward with the technology. The second generation is going to be the fighters, saying they're going to get the things done, but they get tired, and then when that third generation comes in, that's it. They knock down the building. There's no more of that burning fire, and all are one. And the first generation millennials they're the grandparents. They're very proud of what they did. So I hope that explains that. I found that to be extremely interesting, that the vision that I got. And to me, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. So I hope that helped others. I hope that explains the millennials and why they're different and what they're doing, and don't be surprised now that the fighters are coming in when those kids get a little bit older, and then the third generation, they finish that. Okay, I hope that helps all of you, and I trust in God in heaven in all things. So all of you trust in God in heaven in all things. I love you. God in heaven loves you. Thank you, first generation millennials. Thank you. I love you too. And we'll continue on. We'll watch them. We'll watch them do what they need to do. God in heaven bless you. Until next time.